Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy to growth. Welcome to Betray the Conformists. I will be your host, Jay Money. To start, this video will be a brief introduction to conformity, why it is so prevalent in today's society, and why we need to recognize and fight against it in order to be truly happy. Conformity is when a person changes something about themselves in order to fit in or in response to social norms. A classic example of conformity in action is the Asch experiment. Professor Solomon Asch took 50 students and administered a type of vision test. They were asked to state aloud which one of the comparison lines best matched the target line. One of the students was brought in with 7 others that were in on the experiment. The test subject was placed at the back of the group, and they would go in order stating their answers. The first couple questions, the 7 in on the experiment would answer correctly, and then 3 or 4 questions in, would start giving the blatantly wrong answer. The study found that 32% of the test subjects conformed with the group, stating the clearly wrong answer every time. 75% of the test subjects conformed at least once. Compare these numbers with the control group that answered anonymously and gave the wrong answer less than 1% of the time. A similar experiment was performed by National Geographic. They set up hidden cameras in a waiting room of a doctor's office. They had numerous people, again in on the experiment, waiting when the test subject arrives and takes a seat. They play a short beeping sound, and everyone in on it stands up briefly before sitting back down. Guess how many times the beep sounds before the test subject joins in with the group? After only the 3rd sound, she starts standing and sitting along with everyone else. They then slowly call all the others back and leave her alone in the waiting room. And even completely by herself, the test subject continues to stand at the sound of the beep. Now to top it all off, they introduce another test subject. The second subject sees the first one standing up and then asks why. The first replies, "Everyone else was doing it, so I joined in." Then the second test subject conforms and starts standing up as well. While these aren't perfect experiments, I believe it shows how common conformity is in our society. It shows us people prioritize the comfort of fitting in with those around them, even when it goes against their intelligence or better judgment. I'm sure you can see why this could be problematic. Conformity destroys critical thinking, individuality, and creativity. It creates mindless, sleepwalking slaves, incapable of thinking for themselves. They rely on others to be told how to think, and how to believe, and ultimately how to live their lives. And worst of all, most of the time, people have no idea that this is even happening. Most people are not even aware of their need to conform. They live under the illusion that they follow their own ideas and inclinations, that they are individualists, that they have arrived at their opinions as a result of their own thinking, and that it just so happens that their ideas are the same as those of the majority. While it may be easy for us to say we wouldn't have conformed like the test subjects in the experiments, statistics show that most likely we would have done the same. Conformity really is all around us, in our schools, workplaces, churches, governments, and even in our homes amongst our families and friends. Days could be spent just on the rise of social media alone and how it has made it almost impossible to resist some form of conformity, especially for the younger generations. The beautiful people we see on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat that look like they fell from heaven with their perfect complexions and their astounding good looks. What do they generally refer to themselves as? Influencers. Somehow their giant following and clout, combined with their supreme confidence, has made them an expert in all types of areas. Politics, education, entertainment, business, how to best whiten your teeth, best places to shop, the best makeup to wear, the funnest games to play. You name it, and they have a completely unbiased opinion and recommendation for you. And most of society thinks, wow, if that many people follow and listen to these people, they must really know what they're talking about. How do we keep up with people on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok? You follow them. What about YouTube and Snapchat? You subscribe. Even these small acts alone denote quite literally you following and subscribing to that person's thinking and content. Marketing in general is just a mixture of propaganda, subliminal messaging, and conformity when you really think about it. The first step in fighting against conformity is realizing that it exists. Not only that it exists, but that you are subject to it, knowingly or unknowingly, basically anywhere you go and in all areas of your life. So why is it so important to fight against conformity? What's the big deal? A person cannot truly be free or happy while being a conformist. While some forms of conformity are necessary and aren't inherently bad, whenever we change our beliefs, thinking, or actions to match others, we are sacrificing what makes us really us. And the fact that this all happens, largely without a person knowing, is incredibly troublesome. I want to live in a world where everyone can feel comfortable with being themselves, where we can strive to be the best versions of ourselves, and conformity destroys the ability to do that. If I decide to be an idiot, then I'll be an idiot on my own accord. Thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. This is the first video of many where we will dive deeper into ourselves and the people around us to discover why we do what we do. Hit the sub button and drop a like, and join the rebellion, and rise up in betrayal against the conformists.